Welcome to my channel. Let's make momos today. To make momos, I have taken 1.5 cups of Maida. Sift the flour well and add it to a bowl, and to this flour add about half a teaspoon of salt and mix the salt and flour well before adding water to it. Now take 1 cup of lukewarm water and add 1 tablespoon of water at a time to mix the flour and water. By adding water little by little, the flour retains the moisture and the dough will be soft and pliable, so it will be very easy to make the outer shell of the momos. Now keep adding water little by little and keep mixing until the dough comes together. Once the dough comes together, knead it for about 5 to 7 minutes to make a soft dough. I find that there are many views for my channel and I am really happy about it, but many of you have not subscribed to my channel. By subscribing to my channel, you will be encouraging and it will be very supportive. So please do subscribe and watch, so that I will also be encouraged to post many more recipes. Add 1 teaspoon of oil to the dough, coat it well and leave it to rest. We add the oil to keep the dough moist, so that it doesn't dry when it is resting. Now cover with a cling wrap or a plate and rest it for about 30 minutes to 1 hour. Now let's make the filling. For that I have taken 200 grams of cabbage, 1 onion, 1 carrot and a few spring onion greens, a piece of ginger and about 4 cloves of garlic. I have taken 2 tomatoes for the chutney. I have put it in the oven to roast. You can roast it on a tawa on the stove also. Now take 2 Kashmiri red chillies and soak it in warm water for about 10 minutes so that it becomes soft. Now when the tomatoes are roasted, peel the tomatoes and keep them aside. I have grated the cabbage and carrot and have cut the onions to fine pieces and cut the spring onion greens also to small pieces. I have also cut the garlic to very fine pieces and grated the ginger. Now add about 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil to a kadai, and when the oil is hot, add the grated ginger. Keep the flame on low to medium so that the vegetables don't change color. The vegetables should cook well but not very soft. Add the garlic and saute on medium flame for about 2 to 3 minutes. The vegetables have to be sauteed, but it should not be fully cooked. It should have the crunch in it. Only then the momos will be tasty. I am sure that all of you watching the channel will subscribe and encourage me to give more recipes. Now saute until the raw smell goes, and after that you can add the onions to it. Add the onions also to it and saute well so that the color of the onions do not change. If the color changes, the taste will also change. So the taste should be mild and the vegetables should be crunchy. Only then the momos will taste very well. So after adding the onions, saute for about 2 to 3 minutes and then add the carrots, because carrots take a little more time to cook than the other vegetables. So saute the carrot for about 2 minutes. The carrot also needs to have its crunch. After 2 minutes, add the cabbage to it. Cabbage cooks fast, so you can saute for a minute. You can saute the cabbage for a minute. Now all the vegetables will be well blended. Add the spring onion greens and saute for a minute. Once the vegetables are sauteed, add half a teaspoon of salt to it, because we are going to add soy sauce to it. Soy sauce has salt, so add less salt. You can add more after you are adding the soy sauce if needed. Add half a teaspoon of red chilli powder and half a teaspoon of black pepper powder. Now mix all the vegetables and the ingredients together and add 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. Mix well and add finely chopped coriander leaves to it. Now mix all the vegetables well, and once they are all well mixed, the vegetables have to blend a little. So add 1 teaspoon of corn flour to about 1 tablespoon of water and mix without lumps. The water needs to be normal temperature or cold. If the water is hot, corn flour will not mix well, it will form lumps. So mix it well and add the corn flour water to the vegetables and mix well. The specialty of mixing corn flour to the vegetables is that it will blend the vegetables well, bind it well, but the water will not be there. You can see that there is no water in the kadai. If there is water, it will keep bubbling around. So now the vegetables are good to make a stuffing, and the vegetables will also retain their moisture in the vegetables and it will not ooze out, so that it will not be oozing in the shell, in the dough. So once the vegetables are blended well, leave it to cool and we'll make the chutney for it. Add the soaked Kashmiri red chillies to the mixer grinder and add 2 cloves of garlic to it. Raw garlic will give good taste to it. And add 1 tablespoon of onion and 1 tablespoon of spring onion greens to it. That also gives a special flavor to the chutney. So adding the onion and greens of spring onion is very important. Now cut the tomatoes, peel and cut the tomatoes to small pieces. Add coriander leaves. You can add some stock also with it. Add the coriander and tomatoes to the mixer grinder and add 1 teaspoon of soy sauce to the chutney. This gives very good flavor to the chutney. Now add 1 teaspoon of tomato ketchup, which enhances the taste. Add 1 green chilli, half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of sugar and make a chutney to this consistency. This is a great addition to the momos. Now take a small ball of dough and roll it. You should roll it thin. In the beginning it will spring back, so slowly and carefully roll it thin. It should be thin on all sides, evenly thin on all sides. Only then you can make good folds and it will not open when you are cooking it. Only when the dough is thin it will be tasty. So roll it thin, and the rolled dough can be as big as the size of your palm. That is enough for a momo. So now roll it thin and place the stuffing in the center of the dough, and then you can start folding it. Now when it is done, roll the ends also thin so that it is even on all sides. Take 1 teaspoon of filling, place it in the center. See that it is not at the ends, so that it will be difficult to make the folds. Now after placing the vegetables in the center of the dough, fold it into half, equal half, and pinch it at the end so that it seals well. Once one end is sealed, you can start making small folds. One side of the front side of the dough should be folded and the back should be pressed so that it seals well. So you are going to fold only on the front side of the momos. The back side will be used to seal it properly. Now seal well, seal it tight, and the momos are done. This is a basic pattern of the momos. If there are extras, you can correct them like this. Make this, and we can make another shape also, which is a round one, which will be a little more easier. Keep the dough in the palm and fill it with the vegetables and start making small folds. Make all the folds and then get them all together and seal it properly. So make the folds slowly without spilling the stuffed vegetables. Now once all the folds are made, in the center seal it tight like this and twist, give it 2 twists so that it is well sealed and you can be sure that the vegetables will not come out when you are cooking it. Now just press it, spread it in the top so that it gives a nice shape. You get a nice momo. Now add 2 spoons of oil to a kadai and place the momos in it and turn it on either side, and once you turn it on both the sides, add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water to it and close it immediately with a plate so that the water is absorbed by the momos and they become soft and they cook well. So it is important to see that they cook on both the sides well like this, so that the shell of the momos are soft to cut and they taste really very well. The taste is really very good, and this kind of a chutney to this is a real combination. So I am sure that all of you will make it and comment. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video.